Huh? Thinks I'm live. Always takes YouTube a couple minutes to figure it out. Always takes me a couple minutes longer than that to figure it out. Then switch over from
always takes YouTube a couple minutes to figure it out.
And then learn to shut it up.
It takes me a couple minutes longer than that to figure it out.
Yay, let's get the loop going, Sparky. Can't be smart all the time. Steve87 PSAP, how are you, bud? And first one in the stream. John2618 saying, hey, Drew Dudes Model Trains, how are you? And we got William from New Fenris Railroad and John number 2 with Schuylkill River Valley. Evening, Sparky and all. Very cool. And I think I got this set up properly. Looking at the camera, and the chat's right there, so I could be okay. And I think my train's actually still running. I hear it anyway, so that could be a good thing too. And Dave Piper's popping in the chat saying, hey, that's very cool. So give this a few minutes. I'll just sit back and relax. How's that? Oh, Human City Junction. Oh, he's got a wrench. Must be Humanity Junction. Where are you going live tonight? Man, I'm just going to stay right here in my house, man. Well, in my shed. Hopefully this isn't my house. Wife still loves me for now. And we got Kind Cake. How are you? Very cool. Dawson's Railfan Adventures. And Marty M. Caboose 121. Buddy, I finally sent out your prize from like, what, a month ago? Finally got to a post office and got that posted. So that was yesterday or the day before. Said 4 days postage. So we'll see how long it takes to actually cross the border, though. So, but hopefully it gets to you pretty good. John Tanzillo, and we got Joseph Batts and Chaz Coe. How are you, buddy? And Rabel Bell's popping in, and Grandpa Rails. Hey, brother, have a great show and catch you later. Hey, does that mean I don't have to put a wig on? You're not really watching? Oh, see what we got down here. We'll do this one. Grandpa Rails, thank you very much, buddy. And once you get off work, you have a safe drive home. And I might just be here. I got 2 special guests tonight. Well, I got one. I can't find. One of them dropped off. So he's got to come back on. But anyway, and Frank, how are you? Alex Brockway, hi, I am on my phone. Oh, okay. So whenever you come back on, bud, we'll get you up. I might just have to reverse my guests, that's all, if you're busy for a bit. Michael McCarville, how are you, sir? Marty M, John Tanzillo, whatever works railroad, saying hello to all. We got Ralph Greenwood in the chat. Very cool, man. And BNSF 6951 throwing up my Teesprings store, which is cool because I keep forgetting that I got the Teesprings thing going again. Hey, man, my D-cell batteries are dead. Heath told me you were loaded. Can you help brother out? Give me a second. Give me a second, Train Freak. All I got's double A's for you, bud. That's it. So you'll have to make these work. 2 extra ones. My remote actually, just died on me the other day. I should get some actual real rechargeable batteries for it. That would be good. So, but with Train Freak, thank you very much, bud. See if I can get that on there for you. And look horrible again. And then I always end up eating this. Norman Rowe, nice to see you, bud. PDRR. Art's in here too. And that never stays where it's supposed to be. Don't you know size matters? Yeah, Train Freak, I do. But I never deal with anything that needs C batteries or D batteries. Mine are always small. So, and we'll leave that at that. If you guys want to know what I'm talking about, you got to go back and check out the Train Freak's last live stream. We were giving him a pretty hard time. And he wasn't catching on because he wasn't reading the chat for a bit. So it was kind of funny if you were there. Or it might be funny in the replay. Who knows? I'm eating this thing already. What do you know? And everybody's still saying hi to everybody. Norman Rowe, John Tanzillo, very cool. And, might have Alex back, but his camera's not back on yet. So, the Carver's here. Hey, Paul, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a bit. And am I yelling at everybody? I feel excited. I really do. I got a young man that keeps popping in and out of the stream. Hopefully he's not having camera problems now. I've been talking to him for like the last 45 minutes. His camera's been doing fine. Audio's great. And now he's popping in and out. So, And then the owner of OVRTrains, is sitting in my basement waiting to talk to you guys. So if you got questions for a young lad, I think he's around 12, 13 years old. He might shake his head yes or no. I don't know. Okay, he is 12 or 13. So, but before we actually get him up, we're going to have to get his dad on here first. YouTube doesn't like people under 16, I guess. So we'll get his dad's permission to get him up. So you guys have any questions for a young whippersnipper into the model trains? Like, I've got a few, that's for sure. But think of them and we'll throw them up in the chat. And then, like I said, we got Lorne James, the owner of OVRTrains, down in the basement just kind of hanging out. So he owns a model train store. You got to have a couple questions for him. The only thing I think I would refrain from asking him is when are certain models coming out or things like that, or any secrets about MTH that he might know, because I don't think he knows anything, really. And if he does, he's not going to tell you either, guys. So keep it kind of model related or owning a store related or whatever you want to. Just you guys will figure it out. If I don't like the question, I just won't show it. So Dave's Train saying hi to Art. Dwight Curley's in here popping in. Sean McGee, you're supposed to be sitting behind me, buddy. I thought that was like a standing invitation that you're supposed to be here every Wednesday. And like, so's James Galton. He's supposed to be here too. That way when I do something exciting, we get some clapping going on, and that's all right. Maybe next week. And Jerry, nice to see you, bud. I still think you should change your name back to Sattarelli, though. Jerry Sattarelli. Jerry Sats. Just, you sat where, bud? I don't know where you sat. It's like an incomplete sentence. Jerry sat. All right. And Joe Rader, Black Rock Central Railroad. How are you, buddy? And that's pretty much it. I'm going to bring up Alex here, but he's got to put his dad's face on there first before I can bring him up. Oh, okay. He's saying, don't bring me up yet. Don't bring me up. Southern O-Scale Trains, nice to see you. And Crazy Joe, nice to see you in here too. And the wife made cabbage rolls. Cabbage rolls trump Sparky. Yeah, no, they don't. You could have brought the cabbage rolls here. I love homemade cabbage rolls. So, and the wife knows it too. She makes them every once in a while, or goes out and buys them, and then I just kind of sit down and mow right down on them. So, and Otis Tooley, nice to see you. So what do we got in here? 63 watching, 13 thumbs up. What, am I not cute enough for you guys yet? Well, I can put another wig on, get some more thumbs up, put a wig on. Well, no, that's not why I put wigs on. Forget it, you guys. I'm just teasing you. So, all right, I think Alex is kind of ready now. So we're going to bring him up. Like I said, guys, if you got any questions for him, just throw them up in the chat. If Alex or I see him, we'll try to figure that out. Hot Rod Rodney, I'm not blue, Sparky. I could try to do something about that. That might have worked. There you go, sir. And question, there are lots of gaps in the hobby. What missing structure kits does OVR get requests for? Well, keep that. Maybe Lauren will see your question and write that down about what kits are missing or something, but keep that for when we pop him up on the screen. But I'm going to bring Alex up here. You don't look like Alex.
I'm not Alex, no.
Oh, who are you?
So anyway, Sparky, our internet is down.
Uh-oh. Well, you seem to be okay right now.
He created a hotspot with his phone, I guess.
I see.
What must be going on? It went down at 6 o'clock, and it went down right at 7 o'clock.
So we're running off your hotspot on your phone.
Yes. Is it working?
It is working pretty good. You're a little choppy, but now we understand why.
All right.
So, but if we can't do it, we can always do it another time if that's going to be too hard on us.
I have a feeling it's going to come back. This happened at 6 o'clock, and it was down for 10 minutes.
All right, I'm
Hey,
back.
no problem then.
Yeah.
Okay, can you please?
Yeah, we got Alex in here. We just need permission from you to actually have him on the screen because he's a minor.
Absolutely. I give him permission.
Alrighty.
Yes.
So
No
that works for me then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole YouTube thing that I just got to cover my own butt on, I guess. So someday you'll turn 16.
Yeah, someday. you will.
Someday.
I'll be right back.
Then you'll be older than all of us.
All right, there's a few issues, but we're just gonna have to work with that.
Well, yeah. Well, now that we know you're using a hotspot on a phone, we understand why you're looking a little choppy, so that's all right. And we got Container Man 68 throwing a super chat, so I'm going to throw this up here for him. Thank you very much, my friend. Awesome. I hope that wasn't supposed to be mailed to you later. Or I'm going to make you start wearing wigs. And then I got to find... Yeah, we can always tell the story about this one sometime too, so...
All right, we're back on. Hang on. Here we go.
All right, see if we can get switched around.
All right. I might lose connection just for 1 second.
Uh-oh.
Might have to bring me back.
Is Heath in the chat still? It's always Heath's fault. Come on, Heath. He's just a kid. Why did you break his internet?
All right. Am I here? Can you hear me? Is everything good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. That's good. Am I clearer?
Well, you're better than what you were, so.
All right. That's good. All right. It came back.
Just in case you drop down again, we're going to get right into your questions right off the bat. Put you on the hot seat, as Vinny likes to say it. They're not too hard of questions, though, for you. They're pretty simple. First one, though, what got you started in model trains?
Ooh. All right. Well,
Maybe
my dad's friend, Dan. One day we were over driving around. He owns a train store. Few towns over, I guess. A few towns over. Phelps, New York. Yep. And we were driving around, and I said, "Hey, Dad, look at this. This looks pretty cool. We should try modeling this stuff. This looks pretty cool. I like this." One day, he sent us home with lots of stuff to go through. There was track in there. Dad said, "Oh, let's buy a piece of plywood and put it on the pool table." So we put it on the pool table. That was my layout for 3 years. So that's how I got started.
Awesome. So somebody that owns a model train store actually gave you some stuff and got you hooked on trains.
Yep.
That's kind of a cool story. Wonder if we can rub that off on other people. Why am I getting an evil eye from the basement? All right. So do you remember your first model train that you've ever kind of known? Like, did you just have one at Christmas around the tree, or was that your first train set basically? Or
I think my first train set was my grandpa got it for me. It was a Lionel in Wabash, I believe. That was when I was like 5. We set it up around his Christmas tree. They lived up in Buffalo. Then I got to take it home and just do whatever with it. Then if I remember this right, when I was there, I stuck a cat toy in the train car, and I sent it around the tree, and the cat was chasing the thing around the tree.
Really? I got to try that. That would be so cool. I still got my Easy Track and stuff like that. So
yeah,
during the holidays or something, I should do one in the house and a little cat toy flying behind it and stuff like that. My cat would probably go crazy for it. So that would be pretty cool. Yeah, the Train Freak says freebies just doesn't get kids hooked. It gets us adults hooked too. Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Yeah, that's true.
So, Taterman68, thanks very much, bud. That one got a little itchy on the ears for some reason. My ears must have been raised or something. So, we got Randall Ellison saying he subbed to Alex's channel. Well, that's very cool. But guys, remember,
if
you're gonna sub to Alex's channel, you got to watch one of his videos. At least make a comment on there. Put the old thumbs up on there. That way YouTube knows it's not just one of these sub for subby things.
Mm-hmm.
And he can keep you as a sub. You guys can watch his videos and stuff like that. So, but speaking of that, what is the name of your YouTube channel?
Well, the name of my YouTube channel is Alex Brockway, FLGK Railway, and I know you're going to make fun of me because it's my name.
Well, yeah, you couldn't think of anything more original than Alex Brockway.
It changed a few times. It went from Alex Trains to my name, and then I went from to FLGK Railway. That's where it just stuck, and now it's there.
Well, at least you know how to find your own channel then.
Yep.
And not very hard for everybody else to find it. And the link's going up there too. So.
Yep, I see that in the thing over here.
Yeah, I got a couple moderators that are all over that. We got David Atkins popping in here on the chat. We got Weber Model Railroad saying hi to everybody. Very cool. So that's your YouTube name, but what got you started posting videos on YouTube?
All right, hang on. I'm going to answer another question. The Train Freak says,
Oh.
what railway system am I using for my layout? Oh wait, was that for you or me? Because it
That's for
added.
you.
Okay. The railway system that I'm using is it's not the best, but it gets me started with the DCC. I'm using a MRC Tech 6 sound system with a handheld device that plugs into it, and yeah, that's what I'm using.
Very cool. And you can interrupt me whenever you want. So I'm always really bad at reading chat and stuff like that. So David
Yep.
Z, the G scale, how are you? Oh, the train is actually going around in the helix. Very good. Oh, Manny Fernandez, how are you? Thank you very much. And I'm going to throw this one on Alex. You can kind of tell a little story about it, I think.
This is where it starts it all right here.
Well, there we go. So how did I get this one?
Well, you got that one when you were coming back from something at Steamtown, and you were driving right through the thruway right past our town. And we just happened to message you about something, and then you said, "Hey, I think I'm gonna be passing through." And then we just said, "Hey, if you want to stop by, show you around the town and show you the layout and stuff like that." And then we found out, so I went out to Walmart and I bought him this green wig because I know he likes to wear wigs. So I just bought it as a joke. Just because.
Yeah, no, that was a good visit too, and that was after my YouTube meet and greet. I actually went down a month later to Steamtown, and I met up with JP Videos, which incidentally will be my guest next week, and hung out with him for about 3 or 4 days, and then on my way back, and like I said, I contacted your dad and asked if I could stop by and meet you guys and check out the town and stuff. And you're a really good host. You took me down to the actual trains yard there that you got.
Yep. Get over to the welcome center.
Yeah, some good pictures and stuff. So that was a pretty cool time. I enjoyed it. TV Tech in the house. How are you?
You can find that video on my channel and your channel, actually.
Yeah, I think it's still on there.
Yep.
So did you always just start YouTube to post videos, or did you first start just to watch videos and stuff?
I started YouTube just to start a YouTube channel because when I was younger, I was watching YouTube. I was watching trains even when I was younger. I've been in this for a long time. But then there was something. I was into guitar playing for the longest time. And the guitar teacher, it's the very, very first video on my channel. My guitar teacher was playing at this bar downtown. And then my grandparents and we went downtown to go see him play. And then we found out that he was going to be leaving town that night. So then I just stopped playing guitar and just never really got back into it.
Oh.
That was my first video, yeah.
Michael McCarville, I missed the green hair already. Well, you know how to get it back up. So when you're posting your videos and stuff, do you have one that's like your best video?
I do. That's the baby duckling rescued from the drain.
I have watched that video probably 5 or 6 times, at least. Oh, Mr. Vinny, you didn't say green, so I can't get into this one though. Oh, there we go. Super sticker from Minster. Oh man, that's horrible. I need a brush or something. There we go.
Yeah, straightener.
Your hair's not even long enough to know what a straightener is. What is?
Nope.
See this? Here's that thing we were talking about the camera. You can't figure out what side's what. I'm going to fix my hair. Nope, wrong side. I give up. But hey, very much, Vinny. So, what's your worst video then?
My worst video. I'd say my worst video is probably when I probably the well, I'm gonna say it's an okay video. I don't like it because you don't know the whole story. But I'll tell you the story because we got time. They're in the I used to if people might know this. I used to walk the dog down the tracks at my friend's house, at my mom's friend's house, and I got in trouble for that. They contacted my parents, and then they contacted my parents. The school resource officer actually contacted my parents because you're not supposed to be walking down the tracks, and even though I was walking down the side of the tracks, they thought I was walking down the middle of the tracks, and that's what you can't do. So yeah. And then after that, I got a special tour of the Finger Lakes Railway station, and the guy took me all around. Had a great time that day. You can also find that on my YouTube channel.
So just on a side note then, like you got the tour and stuff of that. Do you want to be an engineer or work with trains or stuff when you get bigger? Or?
I don't really know right now. It's kind of up in the air what I want to do when I'm older. Maybe. I don't know. Can't think of something. Oh, geez. That's a big question. All right. How many locos do I currently have? Well, I can tell you I have 21 DCC locomotives, and I have about, I don't know, including the ones that don't work, that are just sitting on the bench that we bought with the collection, and they're like old Tycos. I got about another 5 non-DCC locomotives. Yes, he does.
See, and that's a shame because once you get to be an adult and stuff, and you can probably ask your dad this one too, he'll tell you we all turn around and say, man, I wish I was a kid again. So it's always that way. When you're young and a kid, you want to be the adult, so you get away with everything.
Yeah.
Stay up late and all this other stuff, and then you get to be an adult. It's like, oh man, I want to go back.
You want to go back again.
Yeah. So nobody's ever happy. So a couple more for you, I think. Back to model trains is you got that layout behind you now. That's your new layout you're just starting to build.
That's my new layout. Yep.
Now is that you're just building it by yourself, or you and your dad, or you and your mom doing it
together? There's a live view of a camera facing at the layout,
Oh, very cool.
as you guys can see.
So it's you and your dad. Your grandpa helps out too, or?
Every once in a while when he comes over, but it's not often that he comes because he lives in Buffalo.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah, they live in Buffalo.
Well, who did I meet when I was over there? I met you, your dad, your mom.
That was my great uncle,
Oh, okay.
because my parents are DJs and they had to, yeah.
All right.
All right,
Makes sense.
another question here.
Yeah, I saw one there too.
Yep. Christmas layout this year, dude. How did you know I mow grass? How did they know I mow grass and pay for most of the layout like that?
I was going to ask you how many paper routes you need to actually buy some of this stuff. So,
Oh, probably. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm probably gonna set up a Christmas layout around the tree and stuff. I got a few houses and stuff.
now I wonder if Lauren actually noticed that locomotive that was behind you.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe. Oh, wait, here. Well,
He might see it on the next way around. Might
Yep,
see it
probably. Where is it? Oh, it's right there. Yeah, it's carrying a coal load.
So that's going to be another question I got for you, and then we'll probably bring up Lauren here in a second, though. But being your age and stuff like that, obviously you don't have the big jobs or anything.
Nope.
Hobby is kind of expensive. So how do you get the materials, locomotives, parts for the hobby that you want?
I'd have to say probably in the summer, is mostly when I collect and save all my money and stuff like that, because I'm always constantly mowing lawns, and I get paid for doing that. People pay me good for doing that. And yeah, and I do a lot of stuff in the summer. I do gardening for people. I don't know about the winter. I don't really like the winter. I don't like the cold, but it's okay. Not my big favorite.
Yeah, I know when I was a kid, going back a couple years anyway. Anyway, nothing in the chat for that. But yeah, we used to go out in the winter and shovel snow and driveways and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Friend of mine, and we come home with like $100, $200, $300 in a day.
Yeah.
That's how many people are lazy back then. So probably a lot of them now.
Well, I also do where we get all our stuff. You weren't able to go there because you came on a Sunday, but at Lake City Hobby here in Geneva is where we get a lot of our stuff from, track and anything. It's just basically a hobby store that has rockets, toys, everything.
So you're modeling HO scale by the looks of those trains going past you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any other scales you've ever modeled?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, I never really modeled any scales except HO. But if you want to count N scale as something that just went around on our last layout, you can count. All right, now there's a lot of questions coming in here. I can see that.
Yeah, so.
Gotta pay attention.
Yeah, I'm going to bring you up big screen just until that train goes by one more time for Lauren to see it.
My name is Alex Brockway, FLGK Railway. Oh, do I have a specific railroad that I model? Not really. It's mostly freelance, but I do like the Lehigh Valley Railroad mostly. All right. Keep the questions coming if you want them.
Yeah. So what's the thing you find the best about the hobby?
Probably spending time with my dad down in the basement, just doing trains. It's fun.
So what's the worst thing about the hobby?
How much things cost. Cost is mostly a lot. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of us say. So
If you remember, you've seen this. Actually, it's the model of
yeah,
the
pull that out of the
Endale
way.
Clear Lakes Railway here.
Yeah, pull that out of the way for a minute. That other train's going by.
Oh, okay.
There it is for Lauren.
Switch. Come
Yeah,
on.
no, we got that.
There it is.
DB Tech says you made me laugh. How much things cost?
All right. I doubt he could tell, but maybe he could.
Yeah, you've seen it the other way. So
Yep.
drop you down, and we are going to bring up Mr. Lorne James.
Hey, Sparky, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
He has an Ontario Southland painted in road number 383.
Yes, he does. That was a special gift from somebody when he took his trip down there, so I traded him that for a green wig.
I think the wig's probably more valuable, probably.
Well, you never know. So, Mr. Lorne James, you own Otter Valley Trains, OVRTrains.
Yep, that's correct.
I just got to ask a couple questions, then we'll get over to the chat so people can start asking questions in about 5 minutes once I'm done mine.
No worries.
What's it like owning a model train store?
It's fun. It's stressful. It can be borderline chaotic at times, but it's a good stress.
Do you yourself like trains?
I've always liked trains. I've had a passion for trains since I was 6. I played baseball in Southern Ontario, and the track that the field we played at had Norfolk and Southern going by there, Sparky.
Yeah.
And it was their Canadian operation. So Norfolk and Southern didn't have much Canadian operations at the time.
No, they ran through the north part of St. Thomas. I remember that.
Yeah. So this was east of St. Thomas. So our practice field was right on the former Cayuga sub. So I could see these big, massive black Norfolk and Southern with the flying thoroughbred horse. And I just fell in love with trains that way.
Yeah, Michael McCarville's trying to jump ahead of my questions here. So when did you guys actually start the store?
So I started selling trains when I was 17 in 2003.
Take
That's
note.
right. I'm 34 now. The store started in 2006, kind of just as like doing train shows and like out of the basement. And then we built a building on the farm in 2011, had a shop there from 12 until 19. And then last year I relocated it to the new warehouse.
What?
So you're in Tilsonburg now. And that's a pretty good size store. I know Chris from Go Via Go Rail, he did a couple live streams from there.
Yep.
Showed off the store. Looks awesome. I helped you move over there. I only broke one pane of glass, so I was okay.
And we actually have 2 spare panes left too, Dave. So you had 2 more to break. So you're good.
Maybe on the next move. Maybe you shouldn't have told me that. So
I know.
All right, so we had a question for me, I guess. I'll just interrupt you for a second. They asked me what I used to build my layout. We used 3/8 plywood and 1/2-inch soundboard. Soundboard, yep. Homosode, I guess it's called.
Yeah, okay. That makes a little more sense. So
Train board is the correct term, Alex. Homosode is also known as train board in Canada.
Whatever you call it.
oh, my favorite word. Whatever.
I use homosode too, Alex. On my layout, I have homosode as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, someday I'll get over to your layout.
Oh, it works really nice. You can tack right to it.
So
speaking of the name OVRTrains, how did you come up with Otter Valley?
So I grew up in the Otter Valley Creek system. So I grew up where we had the Little Otter, and where the town of Tillsburg is, it's the Big Otter. Also, therefore, the name, the region is called the Otter Valley. So Otter Valley Railroad was just the adopted name we had.
So maybe where'd that go? Ding. Cornell Custom Trains first met Lorne and OVR in 2009 at the Brampton Train Show.
Oh, I remember that now, Cornell. I remember meeting you.
So there's a big, we don't have train shows right now or anything, but once they do start up, are you going to start getting back into train shows or no?
I did Buried last February, and then when everything kind of slowed down because of COVID, we've done nothing since.
Yeah.
I have anticipation to do a handful, but once kind of, things calm.
Yeah, you did go down to the States for Springfield.
I probably would do 4 shows a year, probably. I have a young family, I have a young daughter, but I don't want to work every day of the week, so I might pick and choose a couple shows I'll do.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense. It's a big undertaking, loading up a truck and unloading it and selling things, loading it back up. And
yeah, the Barry show took a bit. I mean, the girls took 2 days packing the trailer, and then we just left and bolted, and then left them to unload the trailer. So it kind of did them a bad, but they did really good and packed it well for the Barry show.
So about owning a store, what's the good, the bad, the ugly?
So the good is obviously you get availability of stuff when it comes immediately. So obviously I'm a modeler as well, so it helps me when I'm building my layout. So that's the good. The good is you also get to meet lots of modelers, friends, customers. You make relationships through the years. I've known you for a long time, Sparky, and part of it was through the shop, but we're friends outside of trains, and we're friends inside trains. So, and there's many in the chat here that have met me, and I consider them many friends. So yeah. So that's the good. The bad is just mostly availability of product, stress of business issues, and just general stress of owning a business. Just like any business, Sparky, they're going to have, bad times and bad moments.
Oh, for sure. And not every customer can be a good customer, that's for sure, too.
Well, some customers always think the customer's right. Sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. All depends what the situation is.
Sorry, I just got a text from Vinny there, so not too bad. But yeah, your favorite part about owning that store?
Well, I started with my mom 17 years ago, so the ability to continue it on after my mom has passed, and most likely pass it through to my daughter Isabel, is probably the big happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And the friendship of customers and the friendship of other modelers that I've made through the years and continue to make daily.
Yeah, I think one of the best things I like about knowing somebody that has a store is you get the kind of off takes sometimes that you get. I know Rapido had some, and you were really quick to show me that kind of stuff with the bud cars and the new releases when things are coming out. I'm kind of almost the first one to know about it, especially when you're excited about it. You're like, hey, you got to check this out. And so,
Well, generally, like any new release, I have a pretty good idea the anticipation when you have like your announcement and your pre-order listing up. I mean, the big thing I got to do tonight is Rapido's been going to doing monthly pre-orders, so I've got to enter all my pre-orders for the Rapido Angus van, and I'm probably looking at almost 1,000 pieces. I got to pre-order. That's a lot of cabooses, but cabooses are quite a popular item for the Canadian customers and American and European customers too.
Well, a lot of the kids don't really know what a caboose is, but I know a lot of the older modelers, we can't wait to get our hands on them.
So there's many terms. We could call it vans for the East, or caboose for the people in the West, or crummies for the people in the Northeast, or wagons for the people in the West, or caboose for the people in the Midwest.
And then you got pushing platforms and all kinds of stuff. Now, I'm not sure if you really want to get into this one or not. I'm kind of hoping people don't get into these kind of questions too much.
It's not a bad question. So generally, one of the main suppliers in the industry has always been William K. Walters. They've been the backbone of the industry. They've been one of my first suppliers from the beginning. And, they're the ones that generally stand behind their hobby shops, their online hobby shops, and their brick and mortar shops. So I'd say Walters because of their breadth in their catalog and their versatility with the people that work there.
I'm just throwing this up because the 3D Conrail locomotive I have sitting behind me, I got from your store. Do you have any more?
Conrail, no. I have some BNSF, CSX, Santa Fe, Southern Pacific, Wabash. I'm working with Allison and Jim Stoddard on a new Canadian line. And generally, I usually talk with them once a month on different stuff they're working on. So I like to keep a handful of stuff on the go with them all the time. They're really cool mom and pop couple, Sparky.
Yeah, they are. I have met them at Springfield too, actually. So,
and they're super cool and super nice to deal with. So I really, I've tried to keep them a good amount of business with them. So.
Yeah. What is the most product?
In the history of the business, it's probably the Bowser SD40-2. But that's over 3 different production runs. The most sought after item.
I'm just going to stay on here.
Probably the Canadian or one of the Royal Hudsons. Like those are generally like the items of Canadian stuff.
Yeah.
And for the more recent stuff, it's generally been the Rapido GMD ones. But when you get into some of the more obscure roads, I mean, I'm always getting requests for, hey, are you gonna do any more Ontario Southlands? Or, hey, what about Cape Bretons? Or, hey, what about this special via? I mean, I get an email, a text, or a Facebook message once a week saying, hey, have you thought about this special run? It's like, well, I only can do so much. I'm only one partner now, so I have to maintain my capital so much. So, yeah. So I see a handful of questions, and I'll try to answer some of them.
Okay, go ahead. I just had to grab this because
no worries.
It's the one running on his layout.
All right. So how much for the Southern Pacific 3D locomotive? So the Train Freak is listed on our website. So if you go to OVRTrains.com, on the right-hand side, you'll see a link for Stoddard's art. There's only about 12 pieces, so you'll see it there listed. Who do I talk to when I need help? Well, you could talk to me, James, or you could talk to Steve when he's in the shop, or you can talk to the girls. Girls are pretty helpful. If they can't get an answer, then generally they ask me, or if I can't get the answer, I usually talk to the manufacturer.
Now, I was just going to bring this up because this was a special order through your store, and you do have a couple more of these.
I have one set in sound left and no sets in non-sound.
Did I ever get my set from you?
Yes, but it's probably sitting in the back corner, so we'll deal with that later.
No, but these are awesome. and they were a special run just for you from Atlas. And you were thinking about doing the F units?
So I want to do all 3 F units. Right now they only have 2. I'm pushing the 2 principal owners to paint the 3rd unit, which will make the production run more viable. Atlas's minimums are much lower than Rapido's, so it's one of those things, Sparky, where you just got to have enough pieces to justify a production run. That's all. Especially when you get into a short line. Short lines are very hard. I mean, like Alex, you're in Western New York. I've been having so many people ask me if I would do a Buffalo Southern or a South Buffalo unit. They're cool, and I've sold customers in there, but to like sell 200 to 300 of one road number is really hard. Mm-hmm. It's really hard.
I have in Atlas Finger Lakes Railway of my local short line railroad.
So I'll tell you a story. So tell you a story, Alex. Atlas only needs about 60 pieces at a time.
Okay.
That's why they can do Finger Lakes and those Buffalo Southerns. When you deal with companies like Rapido or Athern, if you don't give them 300, they won't make the run. It has to do a lot with the face mass, Sparky. Like there's mass on like the unit. So for instance, here's one I got right here. That's a paint mask. This is an RDC. That's one paint mask. Every time there's a different hit or a color, that tampo strike is a separate run. And that's where the whole changes. Like trains aren't made today as they used to be made 5, 6, 10 years ago. It's a lot of tempo striking and a lot less hand painting done with the brass and copper molds.
And I know, and you were talking over Rapido too about buses and stuff like that too. So, but like you said, it takes so much to get the order through with Rapido too. So,
like I said, a lot of it comes down to the tamping. Like we're doing the London bus. I actually looked at doing the Kitchener bus too, Dave.
Actually, St. Thomas would be the one I want, but
I don't think I can sell. I don't think I can sell 600 St. Thomas buses.
No, I'm pretty sure you can't. I only need 2.
Kitchener would have been a big stretch. London will likely be okay, but Kitchener was something I had thought about doing. I see there's a question in the chat. Have I sold any Reading and Northern? Yep, I've sold Reading and Northern to Nathan DeLay. It's occasionally you'll have Reading and Northern come through Canada, so I've sold that before.
How much steam local product do you selling compared to diesel? In other words, how much modern versus older stuff do you go through?
Modern's the dominant now in the hobby. It all depends what your demographics are in a hobby shop. So I'm a younger guy. I generally have a younger customer base because I've been more online and I've adopted to more online, Facebook, YouTube, different mediums. So I generally sell more 80s to present content than anything from 50s to 80s. But when there's a good steam piece come around, whether it's the big boy, I mean, I probably have sold 500 big boys in my entire business life, and we're a long way from big boy country, Dave.
Oh, for sure we are, but
the Royal Hudson, we sold over 600 pieces. So if it's a good steamer, Dave, it'll sell no matter what. It all comes down to your age of your customer base.
I don't know if I want to put this one up for you. You don't have to answer these questions either if I put them up, but
no worries.
You can just say that's like a personal thing. Just didn't fit with your store, I guess. I know
you'd have to ask Shane Wilson why a 4,500 square foot shop and a couple million inventory doesn't fit in Scale Trains' wheelhouse.
Yeah.
It's not an Otter Valley thing. Every other company I deal with deals with us.
Yeah. I know there is a couple stores in Ontario that do sell Scale Trains, but they're few and far between too. And their inventory is not very big with Scale Trains. So.
No.
Did see a couple more here.
All right, so I hate to interrupt, but
Go for it.
On the Rapido note, this is my Rapido, New York, and Lake Erie. If you can see that, geez, there's a lot of glare. Okay, my grandfather Bob Dingman, he owns this railroad, and I actually got to ride in this locomotive myself. He gave me this locomotive.
Your grandfather's Bob.
Bob Dingman.
Okay. There's videos online of your grandfather with Jason and a couple others from Rapido recording sound on top of the roof.
Mm-hmm. On this
Yeah.
one, and then he just did the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad. Rapido did.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one cool thing about Western New York and like Southern Ontario, Dave. We like our short lines, love our Elcos around here. In Ontario, we love our Elcos, and in Western New York and PA, they love their Elcos. It's like almost like we're kind of like we're cousins, Dave. Western New York and PA are like cousins. So
And it's funny too because I think I have one Elko in my whole display. So, and I've
does it smoke the shed when it runs?
it should.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this one up too. It's from Nathan DeLay. Nathan DeLay likes to do scratch building of his own. He uses pop cans or bullets and stuff like that. So he gets into things. Nathan makes things like this. That's all out of pop cans. Now the reason
I've sold Coca-Cola vehicles that were scratch built before.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
But the other thing I was going to hit on that is I know you do estate sales or stuff like that. Sometimes in your store, you'll have that sitting on one of your aisles or whatever. And there might be scratch built stuff in some of that stuff. So not really sure, but.
So generally the estate stuff, it can be anything that comes off a guy's layout or has to do with, stuff that he's built. As for the pop can stuff, I've done a handful of the Coca-Cola ones. I've never actually sold a pop can train, which would be kind of cool to do. And then as for scratch building stuff, yeah, if it comes across in an estate, yeah, we'll sell it. We do sell most of the scratch building supplies to do your own scratch building too.
And does OVR do consignment sales or special, unusual pieces?
Consignment, no, because consignment has to require a consignment fee plus HST, and a lot of people, when they hear the word sales tax, they get like So yeah. Generally, no.
Right. I'm going to show you this now. Finger Lakes Railway.
B23-7 Atlas model, right, Alex?
Yep.
Yeah, that was made in 2006.
Yes, it was. I have two of these, but they're two different. They're separately numbered. No, I actually have three. I have the 2301 and the 2302.
I don't know if he froze or he's thinking.
Maybe the internet went back out in his house.
He looks like he's thinking, though. So. Yeah, there was that question there, too. Do you sell O-scale in your store?
We have sold some O-scale. I can generally get access to Atlas O and all the different lines, and I just special order it. The Atlas crowd has really dropped off in the last years. The only local club around us, Dave, is the London O-Gauge Club. And then there's the Aberfoyle Club. Other than that, it's really hard, like, in between anymore.
Yeah.
Like, fundamentally, HO is the dominant scale for Southern Ontario. It really is. And for most of Canada, because we've got bigger spaces in our basement.
Yeah, for sure. And the basements do help. So
yeah.
But N scale, you're starting to get into that. I know you got a full aisle of N scale. Well,
yeah, I have more N scale planned. I had about 17 lines that we were going to add before COVID hit. I've added 5 of those 17, and I have plans to add another 4 or 5 more in the next 6 months. You got to remember, with not having train shows and not having the same kind of walk-in client, it's really hard to try out a new line without like overly committing or completely failing.
I just lost that question. This one puts a big smile on my face.
I know, Dave. It was too business response. I know.
Oh, no, that's fine. This one makes me smile just because TSG and myself, we did a test stream when I first hooked up my internet out here to the shed, and it went on for 4 hours as a test. And every time I said I got to go or somebody had to go, that was the question we'd always ask them is, oh, what's the future of your channel? So I know you do a YouTube channel also. It's OVRTrains, but it has, well, I'll let you explain what's on your channel. So
generally on my channel, I will generally just put rail fanning videos that Isabel and I go out and take pictures and video of. The plan generally is to do more videos with the layout, and I do have some layout videos up there. My layout's really stalled at the moment and it stalled for two reasons. One, I had to do a 2% decline in 10 feet and a 1% decline in 20 feet on a bank curve. I need help, and my wife's not a big fan of anybody coming in the house right now.
Yeah.
So once everything kind of calms down, we're going to get back to do the bench work, and you'll see more video and pictures coming. So I'm just, honestly, I'm in the hold pattern, like, you know, but I still go out and rail fan with my daughter, and we do stuff like that. So mostly it's just rail fanning videos. If I do stuff for the shop, I generally will just use the standard Facebook channel.
Yeah, and you do have that too, the OVRTrains on Facebook.
Yeah, and we generally have posts inside there, and then we have an internal group too. And occasionally we'll do like live videos in the shop, and occasionally one of my sales guys will take home some product and do videos and stuff like that as well.
This looks like somebody you know.
Yeah, I believe in charging in Canadian dollars, not American. I will quote in American generally months in advance just to kind of give an idea. I mean, obviously currency moves, so you have to be cognizant of that, but generally I keep it kind of, you know, calm.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of touched on this earlier. Because you're a Canadian store, you go through a lot more Canadian merchandise.
So we actually stock we stock all the class ones, all the current class ones. So we have a good inventory of BNSF and UP and NS and CSX and some KCS. Like obviously we stock relatively deep Canadian CN and CP and then the short lines. But yeah, I generally have American stock on the floor. You know, some of it's run through, some of it we have American customers. Some of our customers are Canadian that model American railroads. So we generally have a good variety of American roads on hand, but you know, predominantly being a Canadian shop, we have a lot of Canadian content.
And again, these are questions I was hoping they wouldn't ask, of more direct, certain.
Well, I think I've answered James's question on this 4 times in 3 months. I have many on back order. NC, like many companies, is having teething issues right now during this environment. When they arrive, they arrive. You know.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing too. Like border issues, COVID issues, manufacturing issues,
parts supply issues, supply chain. One part of the world's closed, another part of the world's open. One part of a factory is working, another factory is not working.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't realize it's more interconnected than everyone realizes. Even in the concept world of model trains, it's all relatively interconnected. Whether we're making an automobile or we're making an NC handheld throttle, there's parts all over the place.
Yeah, and it's just one of those impossible questions to answer right now. Like you can't even call up a manufacturer and say, "Hey, when can you get this stuff to?" Because they don't even know how long it's going to take. So.
Well, if they don't have the parts on hand, the lead time's an issue that's always going to be a concern.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good question. Thank you, Rick. Glasses were good. I can see now that I took them off, though.
So generally, I'll just kind of answer this in a general way, Sparky.
Yeah.
Generally, you have to buy the inventory from the wholesaler manufacturer. Generally, you can either have a pay on demand, i.e. credit card or COD, or if you have established credit, then you have what's called an open account, and generally you have 15, 30, or 60 days to pay.
Right.
Just like a standard business. Just like a standard business. Just like a standard business, Sparky.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, get down!
And that's the other thing people got to understand too. It's the same for stores more or less that it is for you. Like if one of us went to Rapido and you could pre-order something, well, most of these manufacturers are making things or their products due to the pre-orders. Stores are pretty much the same thing. They go in and they have to take pre-orders from people, plus what they think they can sell later, and it's still a pre-order basically. So,
well, so there's 2 options, like the current pre-order. So the pre-order system is designed to help the manufacturer determine how many they're going to sell. The pre-order helps somebody like me as a retailer, to determine, hey, how much are we going to sell, and if I should take on additional slack or leftover inventory for the time that the pre-orders are cut off to the time of arrival. Sometimes stuff can arrive within 4 months after the pre-order. Sometimes stuff can be up to 10 years. Generally, right now it's been with under a year to 2 years from pre-order date to arrival date. So generally, you keep selling your leftover pre-orders right up to the date of arrival, and you just kind of work that way through it. And you get lucky, and if you have everything sold by the time it arrives, it's a win. Sometimes you don't win, and you're like, oh my God, I got so many pieces of inventory now. Must have sale.
Or somebody that has a YouTube channel that can give one away and then promote those.
Must make joint marketing initiative.
Yeah, there we go. So I'm just trying to go back through and see if there was any other questions. So if people do have questions for Alex or for Lorne, go ahead and throw them up there. I said it's not a guarantee that we're going to get the question answered, but there are quite a bit of O-gaugers who like Atlas. Oh, I created an Atlas O group and we have 1,000 members. Holy crap. That's a lot of members. But again, that could be like worldwide then, right? Pop down on the bottom. So Alex, anything else you want to say about your layout, what you're doing with it?
I just want to say, keep an eye on my channel. There's going to be more videos posted on layout updates and stuff like that.
And you should see if you can get another tour of the train shops and see if he'll let you post that too.
Yeah, I know.
I'd love to see the cab of like a real locomotive with you sitting in the seat. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
So
that would be cool.
And then, like you said, your grandpa or whatever owns that other short line, Bob.
Yep.
You told me one day I can go there, so I'm still waiting on that invite.
Well,
and the borders
opens up.
to be open. Borders got to open first, obviously. So.
If the country opens.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I'd love to take you up on that offer as well.
If you had to start all over again, would you open up a trade shop?
Conversations about that. But yeah,
like any business, it's challenging. Would I start today in today's environment? Absolutely not. I've been doing this for 17 years. I've been online for 11. I'm relatively established, and I can weather this current environment out. But yeah, I would say not. And I mean, I'm a full-time CPA, so I doubt I would jump in and start a brand new business right now, if it wasn't already established and moving along. And you see my staff there, Sparky. I have a great staff there.
Yeah, and one's my daughter, so.
Yeah. The paternity test is out on that one, Dave.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I know how that'll come back, but.
I see another question, but I know I already answered this, but I'll say it again. No, there is no particular place that I am modeling. It's just mostly freelance.
And yeah, I guess I can ask Lauren the same question. With your home layout, is it a certain area you're modeling then?
So I model Welland to Buffalo, 10 miles of the Hamilton CP sub, and 18 miles of the CN Stanford sub. I've got the township of Waynfleet, the Welland Canal, the town of Fort Erie. I have the International Bridge, which is 20 feet long. I have the control box for customs, which is Black Rock. And then under my top layout, I'm going to have a couple small feeder lines, which will be Port Colborne, Port Robinson, and then I'm going to have Bison Yard. So it's basically gateway traffic from Southern Ontario to Western New York. So I grew up around this area. I was always interested in that traffic, so I like that ability. And prototypically, it's the only place in the world I know of that has 4 Class 1s on the same 2-mile stretch of track.
Yeah. And that
which is really cool, Dave. You can have all 4. You can have CSX, NS, CP, and CN all prototypically on the same 2-mile stretch.
Yeah, I've seen CSX in Hamilton a few times too. So
No, I'm talking Fort Erie.
Yeah. I'm just saying I've seen them up as far as Hamilton a couple times. So.
Yeah.
Basically, it's the Canada Southern line that you're modeling, right?
The CN version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the canal is actually the canal that I'm modeling is the Canada Southern, though.
Yeah.
So parts of the Canada Southern and parts of the CN line that was competing against the Canada Southern.
Yeah. So you're modeling a small section of my larger layout because I'm trying to do the whole southwestern Ontario part with just bits and pieces in it where you're actually specifying a certain area of it. So
So you're telling me we can have a program that you run the Central Division and I run the Eastern Division?
pretty much.
We got to find somebody down in Windsor for the Western Division then.
Yeah, that would be very good, especially with the tunnel. Or back then it would have been the ferries. So there's another one from TSG. Maybe a long story, but how has railroad store business model changed in the past 10 years?
Well, it's accelerated. The retail industry, both for general retail and for hobby or what we'll call model trains as niches, you can't survive now without being an online player. The ability to ship product, sell product, move product, you have to have that gateway with an online sales channel and have that ability that you're, reaching customers via emails, newsletters, Facebook, YouTube, different campaigns. And the other reality is the number of hobby shops that were brick and mortar, they're rapidly closing. But the hobby shops that are generally thriving are the ones that have a brick and mortar and also have an online shop. So yeah, they're encompassing, and they might even do some train shows. They're encompassing different ways of reaching customers and making those sales to keep them going.
Yeah. Kind of touched on that earlier. So
yeah, so I'm a full-time CPA. OVR is my second job. I used to teach, and I still occasionally practice personal and corporate tax.
And you're doing my taxes every year from now on. So
no, I can't. I got audited one year doing it for you, Dave. I can't help you.
We got ours are set up pretty good actually. So we actually got someone that used to work for the government doing our taxes, so we're getting okay that way. So where was the next question? I seen it. Oh, there it is. So Alex, what are the trains on your Christmas list?
Don't really have any, really.
Maybe.
Now, I can't really think of anything for my Christmas list for trains. You know what? I can. How about, I'd say maybe a decoder so we can convert one of the locomotives that are, the Athearn locomotives that we just have sitting around to ECC. Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure it does. But I was hoping you had a longer list, and Lorne would know what to order.
Oh, actually, I can have a list. I can make it. I can think of something.
It sounds like you need some basic Digitrax 126D decoders, Dave.
Yeah, I keep my fingers at a decoder installs, but I do have 3 of them I got to bring you, Lorne. A couple steam locomotives I want to get done.
My dad's pretty good at that. He's pretty good at the hooking everything up. Stuff.
Well, the waiting list on that is May, Dave. Unfortunately, my guy's about 4 months behind, and he doesn't want any more work for a bit.
Well, he does pretty good work now, so.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, he went from being really not busy at his job to all of a sudden, like, he's working 70 hours a week, and then he's like, I can't take any more installation work on, Lorne. I don't have time.
Yeah, again, a second job for him, basically, so.
Yeah. I kind of conned him into doing the installation work when I moved the shop.
No comment.
No, him and I have been friends for a long time, so I have a good working relationship with him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, today's kids don't want nothing to do with model railroading. Well, I think we've got one of those right here. So
you got one. You got one that wants to do with it.
Sparky, I would disagree with that last comment. If you are out rail fanning or you're on some of the rail fanning groups, a lot of the guys on these rail fanning groups are under 16. There's a lot of kids watching trains under 16. They might not be picking up a model yet, but Dave, you fell in love with trains when you were a kid.
Oh, for sure.
Alex, you got into trains because your grandpa has real trains and you like seeing real trains, right?
Yep.
Same thing with me. It
Yeah.
starts by seeing the real one. They come to the hobby either at a younger age, Dave, or they come back in their mid-40s when they're having kids.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And you can't. It's also hard, Dave, and like Alex has mentioned, it's hard to be a teen buying trains that are going to be $200 or $300 in price. It's not a cheap hobby. It's a cheaper hobby than other hobbies. I mean, you know, you could restoring cars, and restoring cars costs a lot more money than model trains, but it is a hobby, and it does have money, and it has, you know, costs associated with it too.
Yeah. Kind of the good thing about model trains too, though, is collect a few of them, and you could always sell them off to get more or whatever. Like if PG train fanatic, Pittsburgh train fanatic, basically, he's O scale. He had a big collection of O scale locomotives and stuff like that, and then he wanted a Mustang, so he sold off a lot of his trains, bought his brand new Mustang, and he's still into trains. So there is value in the stuff that we got sitting on our shelves here. So yeah, I'm just trying to find a couple more questions, but I'm not sure if there are.
Where we get a lot of our stuff is like at a train show. Somebody says, "Oh, that doesn't work. I tried to fix it." Then my dad will go in there. It's DCC, and then he'll go in there, and then there'll be a wire popped off, and he'll solder it back on, and it works just fine. You paid $15 for it.
Yeah, and that is the thing. Getting started in the hobby, you can do it really cheap. Going to train shows when they're around, old Life, like and Tyco stuff, you can pick it up for $5. Bunch of track and stuff like that. Get that started. The thing is, it gets you hooked, and then once you're hooked, then you start getting into the more expensive stuff. But then you get a
stage where we are.
Yeah. James Galton says that this hobby's cheaper than photography, which I would believe. I've seen his camera. So, and my camera alone is like $2,500, and that's just for me doing this part time. It's for fun. So, getting into photographs and stuff, it's not cheap for sure. So, Alex, like I said, anything more you want to add about your channel and stuff like that? We went a couple minutes later than normal, and then I'm gonna throw it back up to Lorne.
I think I'm pretty good. Yeah,
You're good.
I'm
awesome.
good. Like to say thanks.
Cool.
Thanks.
I'm going to drop you down, and then I'm going to bring Lauren up. I'm going to put him on the hot seat for half a second. So I'm going to make you real big. How's that?
All right.
Now, OVR trains. I've got these RDCs sitting behind me.
Yeah.
All kinds of them. Kind of, I don't know. I can't see what my camera sees because you guys aren't looking at what I'm looking at. I got to try this. But anyway, I've got lots of RDCs. Your store has lots of RDCs in it right now.
It should be the popular item for Christmas for the Canadian market and the U.S. market too.
Yeah, so I noticed you had a couple of them sitting there with you. You probably just put them away, but you could have showed them off. But you got a deal going on at the store.
So if you buy 4 RDCs, I know that sounds like a lot. Rapido had a deal with the manufacturer that if you buy 4, then you get the 5th one free. So if you buy 4 sound, you get the 5th sound one free. If you buy 4 non-sound, you get the 5th non-sound free. If you want to pool it together with a friend, then you do it that way. It has to be purchased at 4 at a lot. Yes, I understand it is a lot, but it was one of those conditions that the manufacturer had at the time. So we're passing that through and carrying that.
Yeah.
I see in the comments, are they going to make him an N scale? That's something I'd be asking the Rapido boys. Logic says yes, but I'd wait.
Yeah, I should actually email Rapido and see what they'd say about that. I was trying to get Rapido on my live stream when I was doing the RDCs, and they sent me a email about an hour after I was actually done my live stream saying they wish they could be here. They were doing their live stream at the same time. So, but they'd love to join me for my next one. I just have to give them a couple weeks notice. So
So generally they have a 6 o'clock show on Monday on their Facebook, and occasionally they'll have a show on their YouTube channel. And it's usually anywhere from about 3 to 4 the Rapido guys.
Yeah.
Some of their guys are spread out through the States and Canada, so they kind of can either talk about projects they're working on, stuff that's coming, and generally kind of answer their stuff. I mean, generally in their channel, they get asked like, "Hey, are you going to make model ABC or DEE or whatever the case may be?" And I'm privy to a handful of models that I know are coming, but I mean, like anything, that's like a business relationship where I really can't disclose too much. Like obviously manufacturers will bounce stuff off of retailers to kind of make a determination of, hey, what can sell versus not what can sell.
Yeah.
But most manufacturers have a pretty good handle of what can sell in each of the markets. So yeah.
Yeah. So anything else you want to add before we wrap this up about your layout, your store, anything?
So for probably the next couple of months, you'll see a lot of videos just on the channel of, Isabel and I out rail fanning. So generally we go to Brantford, we go to Paris, we go to Welland, we go to Bayview. So mostly it's just going to be Southern Ontario trains. If you follow us on our Facebook channel, I generally do a live stream once a week. We have generally post every day of what, new stuff that's arrived or pictures or updated stuff from the States or, eye candy in the glass or what Sparky took out this week in the back of his trunk, different stuff like that. And generally that, if you want to reach us, it's always email or phone or send us a message on Facebook. And generally that's kind of the case. That's kind of, an essence of me. And I plan on doing more with the layout, but once kind of we get, calmer here and restrictions kind of get reduced, then likely I'll get a couple guys over and we'll get the last bit of bench work in.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you do mention rail fanning and stuff like that. So anybody in southwestern Ontario, if they wanted to rail fan, what kind of site or device do you use to follow trains or find out what's coming around?
So generally what's on me is I have an older phone, so I have a BlackBerry, but I generally am grouped on different Facebook groups. So there's a Operation Sighting Ontario group. There is a Canadian Railfan group, and there's different groups for different subdivisions. So there's a Dundas subgroup, there's a CPR Hamilton subgroup, and then there's a general rail fanning group. So generally we post on those, what's coming. You can also get on your phone called ATS, where you can see what's lined up on the lines. So that's generally what I have on me. I also have a scanner on me, and I generally have a Nikon with 3 different pull-out lens, and I have a camcorder as well and a tripod. All depends if my daughter Isabel lets me get to it, because if a train comes and you get super excited, then everything drops, and we just got to make her happy. So
yeah, well, hard to get her hooked young.
and there's probably been a few videos where you can hear her in the background, and she's like screaming super happy about, Dad, a train coming.
Well, I know there's been a couple phone calls you've called me, and I hear her aboard, I hear you.
Oh yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, though. So
yeah.
Last question, I guess, and then I'll wrap it all up. But Lorne, have you heard of ATCS Monitor?
That's what I was just mentioning before. That's how you can monitor the tracks on your phone. Okay. It's an app which will relay back locations on the train. There's a funny one for Humanity Trucks. When did you have time to have kids with everything you do? Well, I have one daughter. Her name's Isabel, or Izzy, or the Biz, because she's busy Izzy.
Yeah.
She's 3.5. I fit timing. That's the truth. I fit timing.
For sure. And it's always family first anyway, so.
Yeah.
For sure. But,
and we have a kids room in the train shop. Not too many train shops you watch in, and there's a kids room with, a playroom with Disney and toys, and generally Isabel or if Hilda's got her little one, they're generally around. Yeah,
there's usually a couple of the kids running around in there, so. Yeah, pretty cool. And it's very family orientated store too. So I can't really go out on a limb and say not right now because of this showstopper, as I call it, but the COVID-19 thing. But I've been to your store a few times, and there's always people hanging out, and they love to just talk and And I get in there and I'll get talking to people too. And it's not a rushed store. Like you don't feel like you're in there and they're looking at you going, would you just get out of the store? Come on. Like it's very laid back, very friendly. And like you said, the girls there are just awesome. They'll talk my ear off for quite a bit of it too. So
Generally, we'll have like a Railfan live stream up, or I'll have one of Sparky's videos up, or I'll have one of Go Via Go Home videos up. I'll have something on the TV when you walk in, and we try to make it as interactive as we can. And generally, the same thing I ask everyone who walks in. How are you today? Is there anything you're looking for? Generally, and if they need something, I just say, hey, just let us know. We're up here, and generally we're running around, Dave, like chickens, picking orders and cleaning up stuff, and going 10 miles a minute. You've been there, you've seen it before.
yeah, no, but I always think you see me pull up on the car, and you always put virtual Railfan on when I'm coming in.
Well, sometimes the girls are watching YouTube music videos because they just want some music and break for the day while they're picking.
For sure. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say something after you're done here.
Okay, go ahead, because I'm just about to say goodbye to everybody. So,
Oh, all right. I wanted to say thanks to you. Hopefully, I can get some more kids from my school into the hobby. Who knows? Hopefully.
that'd be pretty cool. I was kind of hoping a few people show up that were friends of yours and see how cool it is to hang out on YouTube.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks for taking the time, Alex, and thanks to your dad for giving you permission too for coming on here. Thanks for YouTube saying that you're too young to do this. No, I appreciate it, and it's nice to hear from the younger side of the hobby. Like again, because of this COVID-19, I don't think this hobby's dying. It's the exact opposite right now. It's just booming. So more people need more hobbies, and you got to stay in the house. So you might as well do model trains. So
yeah.
But yeah, bud, thanks very much for popping in, talking, answering questions. I had a great time, and it's really cool to watch that locomotive go behind you.
Yep. Coming around right now.
Yeah.
Right there.
Just think, Alex, I approved the artwork on the model that you're running on your layout right now.
I know. Really, that's true.
I'm waiting for those F units to come out so I can grab those too.
I actually think the cream and the maroon are a little bit darker on those than the Jeep. So
I think they were too.
yeah, I gotta. If we do those, I'm gonna have to take paint samples out in the field. By paint samples, look at the paint cans in the barn.
No kidding, eh? Now, even I've got the open invite to go back there too and spend time in the yard and stuff like that. Just got to tell them I'm there, he said. So
they recently just painted a switcher, Dave.
Did they?
Yeah, they painted one of their SW1200s in company colors. It looks really sharp.
That was an old chassis system, wasn't it?
Nope, the chassis is a Jeep 9. They had two CP SW1200s. And one of them is now painted in company colors. And it's floating around the Ingersoll Cami area. So if you're out and about, anybody out down that area, look for their SW1200 working the Cami plant.
That'd be pretty cool. I do like their paint scheme, that's for sure. So
it's a classy scheme, and it's really TH&B inspired.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
I am going to say goodnight to everybody. We're at 8:19 out here, so 20 after. And that's pretty much all I got for everybody. I'm sure you guys want to shut up too and get on with life. So Michael McCarville, normally right after my show, might still be in here. I haven't seen him in the chat for a bit, but he was here at the beginning. Normally he goes live right after I'm done. So check him out, guys, Michael McCarville. But that's it for me. So I'm going to hit the old end broadcast, and then I'm going to go back and talk to Lorne and Alex and do my personal thank yous. And then I might see you guys over on Michael's live stream in just a little bit. So thanks for checking it out, guys, asking the questions, hanging out, and just all in all, having a good time. That's it. Good night to everybody. Bye for now.